Alright, so one of the things that you're going to notice is that when I made this formula and I got rid of the other phone number data types, that because there were no other phone numbers listed in the compact layout, the phone number here actually moved over because in the compact layout, it is the last field in our compact layout, the assistant phone. When there were other phone numbers, they all got combined into this drop down. So you might say this is perfectly fine, it's where I want it to be, and I'm happy to have it there. However, I'm going to point out that we can combine these two since we only have a little bit of space going across here that they'll allow us to put stuff. Maybe I want to save an extra field here and combine these together. So it's up to you, but I do want to make a quick video and it'll give you extra practice on making formulas. So I want to combine the assistant name and the assistant phone number and make them display one over the other. So I'm going to call it, instead of contact info, it'll be assistant info, and we're going to combine it. You could skip this video and try it and then see if you can do it yourself and then come back if you run into trouble. But I'm going to go into the object manager, so you can obviously go into this tab that's already open and get back to make your next formula field, or if you had closed that out, you would just click the gear tool and go to setup. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a new formula field here. So formula, it's going to be text that I need to show, so I choose that type, and I'm just going to call this the assistant info. And I put my little F in parentheses just to remind myself that this is a formula. You don't have to. Your users might say, what the heck is this F behind this? So I'm going to go in, the contact has an assistant, so I want to know the assistant's name. I'm going to insert that. And then again, just to kind of keep things clear for myself, I want the assistant's phone number. You might remember how to make them show up on separate lines already, and it's the BR that I always put in capitals and open and close parentheses. This is basically what we call a command, okay, or a function that's being called to tell the program we want this data on two separate rows or two separate lines. It's like a hard carriage return. Now, if you remember from an earlier video, you cannot just throw a bunch of text together one after the other without some glue, so I always refer to this as my glue, the ampersand, and I need to put the glue to get the BR in there, and then I need to glue the second line onto this formula. And then from the earlier video, you might remember that without putting in some actual string of label in quotes, these are just going to show up, and that may not be a problem. I mean, if it says assistant info at the top and then it has a name and a phone number, I think you could pretty much deduce what those are. But I'm going to go ahead and put in here assistant name. Remember the space, so it looks pretty good. And then we got to glue these together. So some people like to put these on separate lines so that they can see, like, all right, it's going to be assistant name. I usually put them wherever the BRs end up. I go to the next line just so I can read it where it's going to look similar to what the actual display will look like. So I'm going to say this is the assistant phone, and then end my quote, glue that on there. And so this should be good. I'll check syntax here. Everything looks good. We got the green light. I'm going to go ahead and click next. I'm going to give everyone visibility. Yours is probably already checked on every profile. I'm going to give it, it's going to show up on every layout, and we'll talk about that in a separate video. Does it need to go on every layout? And then I want it to show up at the top here instead of two separate fields. I just want to combine all that together. So let's go to our compact layout, which affects the highlight bar at the top. We created this custom one, and I'm going to edit. Again, I don't need the assistant and the assistant phone number, so I'm going to pull those out of there, and I'm just going to put in the assistant info. And then let's take a look. So this is assigned as the primary layout. Let's just go back in here and click edit, or sorry, refresh. And so it's assistant info, assistant name, and phone number. So if we actually go in here and we try to type in an assistant, so I'm going to go ahead and click edit here, and I'm going to say this is James Smith, and the phone number is 410-555-555. 5555. Go ahead and click Save on this. When we go up to the top, we've got the information up here, and everything's displayed on this particular record. There will be some videos that I'll make around formatting phone numbers if this doesn't come in correctly. So I'll show you just a preview of what I'm talking about. Let's say that you didn't put in any formatting, you just did 410 555 5555 without punctuation, which is very common. Then it formats down here because it's a phone number field. It knows the basic layout of a phone number. But what it does up here is it does not actually put in punctuation. So I've got a video coming up that shows you how to insert the parentheses and the hyphen if people are entering the phone numbers without that. And until you click edit, you're not going to know whether this one actually had the parentheses and the hyphen in it because it auto formats. If I take this mobile number here and I get rid of those punctuation marks, when I click save, you're going to see that this phone number that used to look okay doesn't anymore, and this one doesn't look good anymore. So we'll do a separate video that talks about how to combine that. But at this point, you've actually kind of cheated the system. You normally can get one field up here and about 6 going across. We actually have one up here, it's popping up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've managed to get 8 fields on the compact layout at the top at a glance, and we still have room to put more things across here. We've got about 2 more what I would consider columns that we can put more information. And so we'll go ahead and talk about reformatting these phone numbers. But I always ask people, what do you need to see at the top of your contacts or your accounts? What's the most valuable information to see right off the bat? And that really makes it much more usable for all of your users in your organization when they can see that information without having to scroll down and look for it. Or if they go in here and it always goes to related fields, they don't have to click in to find those values. They're right at the top, and they can maybe work in, these might be the most important fields, they can work in the related fields and not have to click over here to see all the information that they need about this particular contact. So the goal is always high usability and low effort, and that's what I think we can do by making a really good highlight bar for each of the objects up here. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Leave comments or ideas for videos you want us to make, and hit us with a like and subscribe to hear about new content we'll be releasing soon. Until then, we've provided some video recommendations at the bottom of the screen, and if you need more immediate help, you can book a consultation by using the link in the description, and we'll be happy to help you out.